So hi everyone, welcome to the lesson about the DOM, and thanks for joining me. So why are you looking at what looks like a really old, janky, very simple website? Well, because I needed a simple website for this example. So this is actually a very famous Japanese actor, and this is not some old 90s MySpace page kind of site. You can see it's been updated pretty recently. It's kind of a gag that he has such a simple website and he's like super duper famous in Japan. So anyway, so we would expect the HTML code, which we've already learned the basics of, to be very simple on such a simple page, right? So let's take a look. And how do we view the source code? Right, we can right click anywhere and hit view page source. There's also ways to do that from the keyboard. And you can see here that it is super simple. Yes, it is just some tags. It's actually a little too simple. Like, it looks like a whole bunch of stuff is missing. In the body tags, I don't see anything there. I don't see that photo. I don't see any image tags. Should be a picture there. There were some dates, a whole bunch of copy, filling in with dates and events and stuff. I don't see any of that. I only see the title. So how come the source code is missing so much? So that's because this is it's either being rendered on the server side or it is JavaScript. So we see all this information here. Let's now take a look at the DOM and see if we can find where all this other stuff came from. So the DOM is different from your source code. You can also access the DOM by right-clicking and not clicking view source, but rather clicking inspect. And this is a picture of the DOM. Actually, it's as close to the DOM as we can get in our browser without being reading assembly code or something. So this is the rendered version, the fully rendered version of the page, and you can see it's very different. There's a lot more information going on here, right? So now we can see, here's the image tag. There's the background image, right, which is see if we can get it to pop up here. Well, it's all this text in the background. There should be another picture with him, and then there's all the text that we see here. We see like addresses, phone numbers, and we can see the rest of the content there, right, in these frames. So we have these old style frames. So this is different from the source code, and the DOM is actually, it's called the document object model. It's actually a virtual model of the rendered page. It's kind of like your browser's short-term memory, and it is very transient. It doesn't persist. It doesn't last. So I'll show you an example of that. If I target one of these HTML elements, let's say I target the title, and I can double click in there in the DOM inspector, and I can type my name. So now it's my page. It's on the home page. And did I just break the internet? Are millions of Japanese people wondering, like, how did Abe-san's page get hacked? No, because why? It is only on my local machine, only in my browser, this particular Firefox browser to be specific. If I were to open this page again in Chromium or Chrome, it would render like this. When I refresh it, you can see it goes away. It would render exactly as it was before with the correct name. So that's no bueno if we're writing a web app and every time we make changes to it, the user can just reload the page and it will be erased. That's no good. We don't want that. We want our changes to persist. So we can go to a little example that I made here. which is just, 3 small divs with different colors. And I'll just expand this out a bit. So if you remember back to the first few lessons on HTML, this is very basic. Your HTML tags, your style tags, it just got some colors here. And then the body of the page containing the main elements, right? So these 3 divs, I've given them class names and I've given them IDs. If you remember, ID tags are unique. We only use them once, and classes are for more than one element. So we can add JavaScript to this page, if you remember, by adding that right before the closing body tag. So I'm going to add a script tag here. And then I'm going to what we call target. Remember, I targeted the title of Abe-san's page and I put my own name in there by using the browser inspector tools to inspect the DOM. Here I'm going to use JavaScript and my keyboard to target an element instead of pointing and clicking. And I'm going to target the element, one specific element, not an entire class, by using the ID. So I'm going to give this element a nickname, and I'm going to be a little bit naughty here. I'm going to make a red background on red text, which we would never do in real life. That's really not good, but just for fun, let's do that. So I'm going to say let, and I'm going to make up a new nickname. I'll call it red element, red Ellie. And I'm going to target it now in the document object model. So I'm going to use the word document. And I'm going to say document.get element by, and as I'm typing, you can see my code editor is giving me suggestions. So I'm going to say get it by ID. We can also use class names and other ways to target it, but I'm going to just go by ID to keep it simple. And what's the ID of the 3rd div on this page? It's link 3. So I'm going to enter link 3 in a string form. And there we go. We've targeted our element. Now we're going to manipulate it with JavaScript. So I am going to now access the red Ellie element, and I'm going to style it. So I'm going to adjust the style properties. And then which style property am I going to adjust? I'm going to adjust the background color. So let's select background color, and you see I'm getting these suggestions here, so I'll take advantage of that so I don't make a typo. And we're going to set the background color to red, just to be a little bit naughty here. I'm going to save that file, Control S, and then I'm going to reload the file in my browser, and we should see that red one have a background of red. And there we go. So it actually did work out. And you can do this. This is basically how React works. So you've just learned the basic foundation of how to manipulate the DOM. Thanks so much.